Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome back to another pair of World of Tanks replays. Both of these are going to be in this machine, the French Tier 8 heavy tank, the AMX 5100. First game is with me. Hurrah. Now, bear in mind, this is me playing, so don't expect, astounding things. And also bear in mind that I'm not a massive fan of the 5100. So, I'm likely to make mistakes is what I'm getting at. Anyway, we're here on Sand River, we're top tier, which is nice. And for those of you who don't know what the 5100 is, I mean, it's the French Tier 8 heavy tank, but really there's no such thing as a French heavy tank past about Tier 6. As you can see here, it's relatively mobile, it behaves much more like a medium tank in terms of mobility, but it does pack a rather impressive amount of firepower in the form of this 6-round 100mm autoloader. 300 average damage per shot for a total clip potential of 1,800, and the highest penetration of any Tier 8 heavy tank as well, with 232, any Tier 8 regular heavy tank, sorry. However, to counterbalance that, the clip reload time is around about 50 seconds, and the gun aiming stats are pretty atrocious. But this tank is definitely all about that gun. The armour is, essentially, there isn't any. The mobility is, as I said, pretty decent. Not the best, but fairly decent, especially for a so-called heavy tank. And the gun, while frustrating, is potentially devastating. Also, it's French. The gun depression and especially gun elevation leave a lot to be desired. Anyway, so far we've put one shell into the enemy VK2801, that's the German Tier 6 light tank, and just trying to put shots into other people. Last spotted over there was something. What was last spotted over there? Oh, T-34 and another T-34, so we might be able to shoot those guys. Trying not to get spotted myself because, as I mentioned, the armour on this tank is woefully bad. Occasionally you get the odd miracle bounce from guns, or, Tier 5 and 6 light tanks might struggle against you, but apart from that, anything that looks at you is going to penetrate. So there's a T-34, missed that shot, got 4 more shots in the magazine. That one misses. Accuracy on this gun, not fantastic. There we go, penetration, and 1 more round in the magazine. So I might as well have a go, because you don't want 1 shot in your magazine in this tank, you want to go for the reload, so I thought I'd take the shot. Anyway, and see what happened. Now, unlike the French light tanks, the one thing the AMX 5100 does not lack is ammunition. Gets to carry 60 rounds of this 100mm ammo, which is really quite nice. As it means that, well, you're never going to run out of the stuff. And because the AP rounds have reasonably good penetration, I've basically got 1 clip of HE that I've so far never used, 1 clip of APCR that I've so far never used, and the rest, the other 8 clips, are good old-fashioned armour piercing. Now, of course, this is one of the big frustrations of the AMX 5100, that while it's reloading, you are pretty much useless for quite a good chunk of time. There's a KV-3, and we bounce with our first shot. The second one penetrates. There's the third, and this should secure the kill. There we go, kill number 1. 2 more shots left in the magazine, just deciding whether to go for the reload or whether I can find someone to put these 2 shots into. Gonna try and dispose of these shots, possibly into that T-34 who's away in the distance, or maybe that Pershing, someone like that. And then I can go for a reload, decide that actually I'm not going to get those 2 shots away, so go to reload the magazine. So far, then, done around about 1,700 damage and picked up 1 kill. Which, if we're going to be honest, if the game were to end now, okay, it's not a spectacular amount of damage, but for a Tier 8 tank, it's not bad. I've done more damage than I have hit points. I've done about enough damage to kill a same tier heavy tank, so that's not too bad. Goodbye, Mr. FCM-50T. You were in a pretty terrible position. T-44 is coming around. My magazine is almost loaded. So I'm going to see if I can give him a bit of surprise butt sex. Hurrah, the best kind. And get the gun to aim. And there we go. One. Oh, this guy's trying to get into cover, which is an eminently sensible idea, unfortunately for him. Oh, there's a Pershing as well. Second shot bounces on the Pershing, which is annoying. Third shot goes into the T-44. Fourth shot goes into the Pershing. 2 more shots remaining. Goodbye, Mr. Pershing. And if I could nail this T-44, that would be great. Like that. Lose my driver in the process, which is kind of irritating to that T-37. He may only be a tier 6 light tank, but he's capable of penetrating me frontally. And we take the damage count to over 3,000, and we're up to 3 kills, going for another reload on the magazine. Scoreline is 6-8, so this is not going particularly well, and I'm rapidly running out of allies. And this is the thing with a lot of auto-loading tanks, especially the French ones, and in particular the 5100 with its massive reload time. You need your allies to be there to absorb the shots for you, basically. You can't take them, you can provide a significant amount of firepower, but you cannot take the punishment, so you need to hide behind your allies. Reloaded, managed to execute that T-34 for kill number 4. Can't get a bead on the other T-34, unfortunately. 5 shells left in the magazine, seeing if I can do anything about him, but it doesn't look likely. Oh, there he is. No, that's his turret front. That's never going to work. Go for the shot on the hull, but no. And now he's backed off. That's never going to penetrate. 4 shells left in the magazine. Always bear in mind how much damage that is. Even 4 shots is still, with average damage rolls, assuming they all penetrate, 1,200 damage. So try to assassinate people with that much health. KV-4 is over there. Should only take 1 shot to finish that guy off. And that would bring us back to 2 tanks behind. But of course, it bounces. It did actually hit, it just bounced because screw you. So that means that now I only have 2 shells left in the magazine, which is not enough to kill this KV-3. If I'd had the 3 shells that I should have had, then sure, I could have executed this guy, but as it is, that's not the case. And that's the really frustrating thing about these autoloaders with ridiculously long reload times. 1 shot goes awry and suddenly you're in a whole world of trouble. I can't really get away from this KV-3. I was coming down here in an effort to force him to use whatever gun depression he had to try and shoot me, and as it is, friendly artillery saves my backside there. But now I'm kind of run out of friends. T-71 is over here. There's Cromwell and a T-37, a T-34, and all we've got left on my team is myself, a friendly T-20, and that artillery, the GW Panther. And while I'm reloading, I am essentially useless. Up to 3,941 damage now. 2 of us left, as the GW Panther unfortunately succumbs to enemy artillery. And I'm trying to see what I can do with this Hellcat there. I take 1 shot on the basis that it might hit, and also if he doesn't know I have an autoload, it might encourage him to come over and try and fight me. For some reason he doesn't fire at all, and he becomes kill number 6. T-71 may still be around here somewhere. If I remember his health correctly, I think I have the damage left in this magazine to take him out. Still got 900 health to play with myself, so I can trade some shots away, but there's a T-34 behind me on enough health that he can soak up the fire from me. So concentrate on the T-71 instead, and this is where I back off, which is a mistake. Last shot misses, and I die. So right at the end there, I made a mistake by moving. I moved because I was side onto the enemy and I wanted to minimize the size of me as a target to them. However, the flip side of that is that because the aiming stats on this gun are atrocious, it meant my last shot missed, so I wasn't able to kill the T-71. Wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game, of course. I still would have died in that situation. The T-34 would have reloaded long before I did, but still kind of annoying. Anyway, let's go and have a look at them results. So here we go then. That was enough for my ace tanker for the AMX 5100, despite the fact that it was a loss. Bruiser, Fire for Effect, Top Gun, and High Caliber. 5,051 damage, 6 kills, 925 base experience. Remember, this is not taken from what replays, so that 925 experience is base. It does not already include the XP from Courageous Resistance. And if we have a look at the damage count of anyone on either team, I easily got the highest. Well done to the KV4, who managed almost 3k damage on the enemy team. 28 shots fired, 23 hits, 19 pens for that damage count, most of which was actually from relatively close range. Received 10 hits, didn't bounce a thing. Spotted 1 enemy tank, damaged 9, killed 6, got 456 assistance damage into the bargain. But the ammunition for this tank is relatively expensive, a shade over 1,000 credits a shot. So we only walked away with 8,000 credits. Once you'd whacked in the Courageous Resistance bonus, you're looking at 1,432 experience, which of course is where the ace tanker came from. So that was my outing in the 5100. Now let's go to someone else's efforts. As promised then, second replay in the 5100, this one courtesy of Cillian 2. He is platooned up with a couple of clanmates. We've got T.I. Hike in the Indian Panzer and Spartacus 78 in the Spar Panzer 1C. And you can see that Cillian here clearly does alright in his 5100, as he has 2 marks of excellence here on the Westfield map, and once again they are top tier, so the potential to do fairly well. Looking at the enemy team, we've got a Carnarvon and a T-34 who I would expect to go around the hill region at sort of B3 and make a nuisance of themselves over there. And then there's things like WZ-111, Ferdinand and a T-28 rounding out the tier 8 tank complement. Now with the 5100, because you have such a long magazine load time and reload time, you really can't afford to get into positions where you're going to have to fight in that sort of first minute of the game. You need to play a bit more cautiously, and actually Cillian gets spotted at there immediately, which surprised me just a little bit. Looking at how the friendly team has deployed, the deployment doesn't seem too bad. A few tanks over on each flank and 1 or 2 in the middle. And that is a rather optimistic TD. First shot takes out his tracks. Second goes straight in. Low damage roll at 229. 284 is also low, but in all likelihood it would have taken 3 shots to nail that guy anyway, so the low damage rolls don't really make too much difference. Another TD, T25-2, being spotted away in the distance. And Cillian just going for a couple of shots. There we go. Sounds like he might have hit at least one of them. In fact, he picks up the kill, I tell a lie. So he definitely hit at least one of them. And with his first magazine has managed to secure 2 kills, which is a good start. But now, of course, he's got that monstrously long reload time to deal with. And there are medium tanks and whatnot all over the place, but Cillian cannot put any fire into them. Comet gets taken down by the friendly Su-101, and away in the distance we have a medium tank. Now Cillian does actually auto-lock onto the guy initially, then breaks that auto-lock. Given what happened, he might have been just as well keeping it, but then again, you know, he wasn't loaded, so who knows. Friendly teammate there in the Indian Panzer looks like he's going to make short work of the fellow there. There we go, T.I. Hike picks up the kill on the enemy Cromwell. Another medium tank being spotted. Oh, that was a poor shot from Cillian. Second one hits, and Spartacus finishes him off. So 4 kills so far between the 3 platoon mates. The enemy team, unfortunately, have won the hill region and are coming around in force, which is slightly suboptimal and leaves Cillian in a rather dicey situation. 4 shells left in the magazine. That's still a potential 1,200 damage, assuming average damage rolls. And there is the Carnarvon. Nope, he manages to make it through without taking any fire. WZ-111, that guy's on low health. If Cillian could pick up the kill, that would be valuable. 1 shot. Second one secures the kill. He gets spotted, however, and takes a big hit there from the T-34, but manages to put 2 shots into the T-34 in return. So takes an average of 400 damage from that guy, but manages to leave him with an average of 600. Don't know what the exact, can't remember what the exact rolls were, but on average. Going for another reload as his magazine was empty, and the scoreline is 6 plays 9. Friendly team are trying to cap this, which, given the situation, is not actually a completely terrible idea. The enemy team have the numerical advantage, and given the positioning of the enemy team's tanks, there's no guarantee they'd be able to make it back to their capture circle in time to reset. However, hero little light tank there does indeed manage to make it work. Black Prince puts one shot into Cillian, but Cillian here has easily the weight of fire. One more shot to finish this Black Prince off, who appears to have been trapped. Cillian gets ammo racked into the bargain, which is a little on the awkward side, manages to take out the KV-85, and with his last shot, puts a round into the rear of the other KV-85, sorry. There's a platoon of KV-85s on the enemy team. I was looking at it going, but he killed that guy. Unfortunately, TI Height gets taken down by a Ferdinand, and Cillian can't do much to help as he's in the process of reloading, and now the enemy team have completely scoured their capture circle of friendly tanks. Cillian's over halfway through his reload now. His last platoon mate, Spartacus, in the Spar Panzer, is taking a bit of a battering, which is problematic. And that is the T-28. Now, this is patch 9.10, so this is, I believe, before the T-28 received its HP buff, so it doesn't have the 14 or 1500 hit points the tank now has. It has closer to 1000. First shot in, second shot bounces, third shot does the business. Around 200mm of effective armour on the front of the T-28, so at close range, 232mm of penetration will generally do the job. But now, ARL, with the help of Spartacus, they manage to take him out, and he actually manages to bounce a shell from, that might be the T-34 there. Takes the shot, doesn't want to hang around, doesn't want to give the T-34 time to reload and nail him again. So Cillian expends the shell, and once again he's on the reload. There's the enemy Ferdinand. Again, I believe patch 9.10 is before the Ferdinand also got his health buffed. So this is a Ferdinand with just like 1200 health rather than 1500 or whatever it now has. So bear that in mind. Here is where you can see the terrible gun elevation on these French auto-loading tanks coming to the fore as well. Now it's just Cillian and Spartacus remaining, just the two of them. But Cillian now is pretty much reloaded, and so he should be able to put some pain into that T-34. First shot tracked him, second didn't appear to do anything, third one picks up the kill blind. 3 shells in the magazine, 2 enemy tanks remaining, and that's kill number 7. Goes for the magazine reload as, you know, 3 shells, 900 damage, probably not enough to kill one of these guys, almost certainly not enough to kill them both. So goes for the reload and goes for a reposition as well. Ferdinand takes out Spartacus, and that means that Cillian is all by himself. Magazine's about halfway loaded, and he's taking the long way round. Now I don't know what equipment Cillian's using on his AMX. Personally, I go with, you can't take a gun rammer because you've got an autoloader. So I take a vertical stabilizer, vents, and a gun laying drive because the aim time on this gun is pretty horrible. Some people prefer to take optics instead of either vents or the gun laying drive. Matter of opinion. Personally, I tried to maximise the gun performance as much as I could with my equipment setup, but in this sort of situation, coated optics could be really useful to get that bit of extra view range, give you a better chance of spotting the bad guys, which gives you a better chance of getting off the first shot, giving you a better chance of winning the engagement. So, in this sort of situation, optics may well be a better choice. And if I was going to swap anything out for optics, it would probably be the vents, because although they provide a buff to everything, it's a relatively small buff, and so it's not the sort of thing you're really going to miss. And in the case of this tank, because you are often sitting still and shooting in that magazine, you do actually end up using the benefit from an enhanced gun laying drive. Now, you can see Cillian is, for his next clip, preloading APCR. He wants to round this game off securely, which is understandable, and APCR bumps his penetration up to 263, which should mean he can reliably penetrate the Ferdinand in particular from reasonable range, whereas his 232 can be a little bit dicey frontally against that machine. Going to speed this along a little bit, just until we get back into the action, and now the enemy team have alerted Cillian to where one of their number is. No, that looks like it might be both of them now. So they appear to be trying to cap, and in this sort of situation, capping is actually not a particularly good plan. You have a fairly mobile autoloader hunting you, and you've just initiated the cap counter, which means that he knows where you are. Ferdinand, away to the right-hand side, takes one shot from the Ferdinand there, so they weren't both in the capture circle. There is the Carnarvon, takes one hit from the Carnarvon, which leaves Cillian a one-shot for either of these tanks. Carnarvon only has 230 alpha damage, but now Cillian only has 109 health. Has got the reset though, so he's coming back to try and deal with that Ferdinand. There the Ferdinand is, and as I said, remembering this is the pre-buff Ferdinand, so the guy does not have as much health as the tank now has, and actually Cillian is going straight through this guy with his regular AP rounds like a hot knife through butter. Cillian here, apparently, according to the Ferdinand, Cillian is a cheater, which is a complete load of tosh, but there we go. Enemy Carnarvon could kill Cillian in one shot, Cillian can kill the Carnarvon in one shot, so this is a dicey situation. Cillian's still going for that APCR clip. Honestly, it probably won't make that much difference, but it might be important if it comes to penetrating some parts of the Carnarvon's turret. Remains to be seen. So Cillian just going around, going to try and approach this guy by the looks of it from a different direction. The Carnarvon's no longer capping, so Cillian doesn't know exactly where this fellow is. And that's sensible from the Carnarvon, you know. If he just advertises his position, then that basically hands the initiative to Cillian's AMX, and that's not what he wants. There's the Carnarvon. Cillian spots him, but his sixth sense does not go off, so Cillian has not been spotted himself. Doesn't even bother properly aiming that shot. And there is the kill. Anyone want to take a guess about how much damage Cillian did in that game? Go on, take a moment, then we'll go to the post-battle results. So, perhaps unsurprisingly, that was Cillian's ace tanker. He may well have had an ace tanker in this tank previously, but this was an ace tanker, as well as Hand of God, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect. Is that Brothers in Arms or Crucial Contribution? I believe it is Crucial Contribution for the kills between the platoon. It couldn't be Brothers in Arms because his platoon mates died. Duh. High Caliber, Tank Sniper, Top Gun, and a Radley Walters medal. 7,438 damage in a Tier 8 machine is monstrous. 9 kills, 1,979 base experience. And just to add things all together, that was actually Cillian's ×3 XP win for the day. There was a special event on, so actually he managed almost 9,000 XP with that one game in total. 34 shots fired, 31 hits, 29 penetrations for that damage count, most of which was actually from relatively close range. Received 7 hits, of which 2 didn't penetrate. No damage blocked by his armour, however, so they were probably shots that were absorbed by his tracks. Travelled over 4 kilometres, damaged 12 of the enemy team, of which he killed 9, and with a premium account managed to make 47,000 credit profit despite the fairly hefty ammo costs of the tank. So, a really nice game there from Cillian, showing my poor man's performance in the AMX 5100 for what it was. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that pair of games in the Tier 8 French, quote-unquote, heavy tank. If you did enjoy them, by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.